Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to discuss some reasoning questions in chapter Solid. These are important for your CBC examination. Why are solids rigid? Why solids are rigid? We know matter are three states. Out of these three states, solids, the intermolecular force are very strong. In solids, intermolecular force are stronger. That's why particles are closely packed. So that is the answer. What is the answer? Why solids are rigid? The answer is, in solids, the particles are very closely packed and having very stronger force of attraction. That's why they are rigid. Second question. Glass considered as a super cooled liquid, or why glass is called pseudo-solid? Both questions are same. Glass considered as a super cooled liquid, or why glass is called a pseudo-solid. Pseudo means false. Why these are called a false solid? Or why glass is called super cooled liquid? Means it is a solid. Why it is called super cooled liquid? Actually, solids, generally matter exists in solid state at room temperature. If it is a solid, it exists in room temperature. But why glass is a solid? Why it is called super cooled liquid? Actually, what happens? Generally, glass is a solid at room temperature, but when it is heated, it becomes soft and mobile and flow like liquids. You have seen, if you heat a small piece of glass, already we have done in chemistry practicals, bending of tube, glass tube. Bending of glass tube also we have done. That is the examples. That when it is heated, it becomes soft and mobile and flow like liquids. That's why it is called super cooled liquid. And at high temperature, when the temperature is more than room temperature, it becomes soft. That's why it is called pseudo-solid. That's why it is called pseudo-solid. Third question. Glass pans in older building becomes thicker at the bottom. Actually, we cannot observe in naked eye, but if you measure the thickness of the glass, ancient glass, very old glass, not fitted 1 year back or like this. Very old glass, ancient glass, if you see the upper part and bottom part, there will be difference in thickness. This is due to covalent, that is amorphous nature of the glass. Glass generally amorphous character. Due to high temperature, this glass atoms or molecules becomes mobile, becomes free and comes down to the bottom, so that the bottom becomes more thicker. That means as glass is a amorphous solid, it behaves like a super cooled liquid. Due to high temperature, it will flow and it is flowing downward due to gravity. That's why it becomes thicker at the bottom. Which is clear? Okay. Then one question. Old glass becomes milky in appearance. That is also one important characteristic of glass. If you have seen also many cases that if you expose the glass to outside where sunlight heating and cooling effect takes place. Sometimes it will daytime it will be heated and in night time it will be cooled. Due to this difference in temperature, the glass which is amorphous nature becomes crystalline. Due to difference in temperature, not in one day matter, regularly heating, cooling, again heating and cooling takes place. Due to this, rearrangement of particles takes place. The structure of the glass changes. That means it changes from amorphous to crystalline. That's why it becomes milky appearance. Urea, that is fifth question. Urea has sharp melting point, but glass does not. Both are solid, but why the melting point of urea is a constant, but glass, the melting point differ at a different temperature. That is the cause is urea is a crystalline solid. Crystalline solid has sharp melting point, regular geometry, definite geometry, fixed arrangement of particles. That's why it has sharp melting point. But glass, you know, it is a amorphous. It behaves like super cool liquid. Already we discussed. That's why does not show sharp melting point. Then question number 6. Diamonds and sulfur both are covalent solids, but differing melting point. Same. Answer is same. Here, diamond and sulfur, they differ in interatomic arrangement. If you see the structure of diamonds and sulfur, diamond has three-dimensional network structure. That is 3D network structure. 3D structure. 3D structure means interlinking takes place. Like this. Interlinking means a network structure is seen in the structure of diamond. That's a very hard and very strong intermolecular force. But sulfur, only the acid molecule, sulfur is exists in acid molecular form. So it has only van der Waals force between other acid molecule. A van der Waals force is a generally weaker force. That's why melting point is lower than the diamond. Only difference is diamond has three-dimensional network structure and very strong interatomic force. That's why it has high melting point. Is it clear? Then question number 7. Silver bromide shows both Schottky and Frenkel defect. Already we have discussed in the previous lesson that silver bromide shows both Schottky defect and Frenkel defect. We know Schottky defect is observed between the cations and anion having similar size. But a Frenkel defect is observed where cation is and anion that differ in size. Particularly in silver bromide, the size of Ag plus compared with Br minus is not much more larger, not much more smaller. It is neither larger nor smaller. It lies just intermediate between these two. If it will be larger or higher difference, if it will be larger or smaller, then shows Frenkel defect. If similar size, Scott defect. As the size is just intermediate, neither larger nor smaller. That's why HGPL shows Scotty defect and Frenkel defect. It is clear? Okay, thank you. Then question number 8. Calcium chloride introduced in AgCl shows Scotty defect, but with NaCl does not. That means when you add calcium chloride to silver chloride crystal, then it shows Scotty defect. What is Scotty defect? Already we have discussed. In Scotty defect, the ions are missing from the lattice point. From the crystal, it will be completely removed. That's why it is called Scotty defect. But in calcium chloride and silver chloride matter, why it shows Scotty defect? Why in place of Ag plus calcium 2 plus, in place of Ag plus calcium 2 plus can occupy? How it is possible? Because due to comparison size. This is the answer. When the size will be same, generally the cations, anion, if they have similar size, then it shows Scotty defect. So here Ag plus and calcium 2 plus, they have comparable size. That's why they shows Scotty defect. It is also example of vacancy defect. That's why it shows. But why not with the NaCl? Because Na plus and Ca2 plus in size, if you compare, Na plus is larger size than Ca2 plus. That's why calcium 2 plus cannot be completely fitted in the crystal of NaCl due to difference in size. That's why it cannot show Scotty defect. Question number 9. Sodium chloride in sodium vapor gives yellow color on heating. That means if we heat sodium chloride crystal in presence of sodium vapor, in presence of sodium vapor, you have to heat the sodium chloride crystal, the color of crystals becomes yellow. It becomes yellow color. Why? Already we know this is the example of metal excess defect due to anion vacancy. It is the example of which defect? Non-stoichiometric defect. It is example of non-stoichiometric defect due to metal excess due to anion vacancy. Here what happens? Cl minus will be completely removed from the crystals and that place will be occupied by electron produced from sodium. So it is called also F center. It is also called F center. What is F center? F means Farbenzenter. F is that is a German word, that is Farbenzenter. That is called Farbenzenter. Farbenzenter means Farbenzenter, that is color. So it is due to F center. If you write F center due to F center, that is also correct. Or you can explain that during heating, the Cl minus is completely removed from the crystal and its place is occupied by electron. Due to availability of electron, it gives color on heating. It is clear? Okay. Then question number 10. Why does electrical conductivity of semiconductor increases with the rising temperature? Already we have discussed in semiconductor, formation of semiconductor, that is band theory. Already we have discussed that in band theory, the difference of energy gap between valency band and your conduction band is very less. The energy gap is very less. But in this gap, at room temperature, electron cannot be transferred from valency band to conduction band. Here, it is not possible to transfer of electron from valence band to conduction band. But due to small gap, if you give heat a temperature, then electron will be excited and easily jump from lower band to higher band. That's why it will be a good conductor. That's why semiconductor, the conductivity increases by increasing temperature. Okay? Then question number 11. Why are the defects of crystalline solids called thermodynamic defects? Why the point defects in solids are called thermodynamic defects. Generally they are called thermodynamic defect. This is why thermodynamic defect is term is used, because we know the crystals arrangement. In crystals, the particles are arranged in a regular pattern, systematic manner they are arranged. But we have read in thermodynamics, at 0K, entropy of the perfect crystalline is 0. Entropy will be 0. At 0K, the perfect crystal has 0 entropy. Perfect crystal means the arrangement is fixed. That means systematic way particles are arranged, and the entropy remains. The entropy of the whole solid will be taken as 0 because it is a perfect crystal as law of thermodynamics. But when you increase the temperature, if you give heat to the perfect crystal, then already we have read in the chapter defects. Defects can be done by heating the crystal, by placing the crystal in electric field or placing the crystal in magnetic field. That's why when the crystal will be heated, then the perfect crystal will become imperfect. So what's imperfection? Means defect. So due to defect, it shows different characteristics. That's why the defect in crystalline solids are called thermodynamic defect, because the defects generally occurs by increasing temperature. That's why it is called thermodynamic defect. Is it clear? Okay. Then 12th question. Zinc oxide is white when cold but yellow when hot. That means at a room temperature, at normal temperature, it is looks white, but when it will be heated, it looks yellow. The color changes. If again it will be cold, then it will be white. So why this thing observed in case of zinc oxide? This is already we discussed in defect, that point defect. This is the example of what? Non-superficial non-stoichiometric defect. An example of non-stoichiometric defect where during heating zinc oxide decomposed to zinc oxide, convert to zinc ion and oxygen and free electrons. This free electron will be trapped in the crystals, and due to heating it gets excited and shows color. But when the crystal will be cooled, then it comes to the original position. That's why again white color. So you can write this is due to non-stoichiometric defect where zinc oxide on heating produces free electron. That free electron gets trapped in the crystals and shows color during heating. It is clear? We will discuss some numericals in solids. First problem, just to see, X2 plus occupied at 1/8 of the tetrahedral void and Y3 plus in half of the octahedral voids. What will be the formula of oxide of the crystal? That means here three things are present in the crystal. One is X2 plus, then Y3 plus, then oxide. This is the composition. This crystal is made of X2 plus ion and Y3 plus ion and Y2 minus ion. Here clearly given that X2 plus in tetrahedral voids and Y2 plus in octahedral voids. And clearly here, as it is not given detail about the position of oxides, you take oxides at the corner because it is a crystal and crystal is made of types of different type unit cells. So it is clearly that you have to take oxide position at the corner. So X2 plus at the tetrahedral. So what is the formula? Formula will be, already we have discussed the formula. If X at the tetrahedral voids, so for tetrahedral voids you have to multiply 2. Already I have told you in the formula calculation that in tetrahedral you have to multiply 2. 2, then how much tetrahedral voids? Now 1/8. So you have to multiply 1/8 into which ion present tetrahedral voids? X. So X ion, X2 plus, you can write. Then is 2. Here Y. Y as in octahedral voids. In octahedral voids, the remains number of atoms remains same. OHV. So OHV octahedral voids is Y. So here it will be how much Y? Half of the Y. So write half into Y3 plus. Then remaining oxygen. Oxygen available at the corner. Corner means that how much? All oxide are the corner, so that will be only 1. Because 8 corner into 1/8, that will be 1. So that's why only 2 minus, because no number of oxide ion is not mentioned here. Number of corner is not mentioned. That's why you have to take it is 8 corner. For 8 corner it will be 1. O2 minus. So the formula will be X. How much? 1/4 is to Y half is to oxygen. So it will be again as 4 and 2, you multiply 4 in both sides, it will be X, then Y2 then O4. So this is the formula of the crystal containing X, Y and oxide ion. Is it clear? So in this way you can solve the problem by knowing the different position. Then second question. Second question is aluminum crystallization CCP structure, metallic radius is 1 to 5 micrometer. You see one important thing. CCP is just like FCC. CCP is same as FCC. Means here has centered cubic where the Z value is equal to 4 and that we know radius is equal to A by 2 root 2. Already we discussed in the calculation of radius. As is a CCP, you remember CCP is same as FCC. So Z value 4, R value A by 2 root 2. Already it is calculated. So as for the question, metal radius is given. So given R is equal to how much? 125 picometer. Calculate the length of the side of the unit cell. So implies your length of side is A. So A is equal to, as per the equation, A is equal to 2 root 2 into R. So you put the value 2 into root 2 into R. R is equal to 125 picometer. So you calculate what will the answer of side. It will be 354 picometer. If you calculate, the length will be 354 picometer, which is equal to how much centimeter? 354 into 10 to the power minus 10 centimeter. Already we discussed picometer into centimeter, you have going to multiply 10 to the minus 10. So this is the side of the question A. Length of side is A. Number of unit cell in 1 centimeter volume of aluminum. The volume is 1 centimeter cube, very small volume of aluminum given, how many unit cells are present. So for this, we have to use, first we have to know the volume of the unit cell. As for this crystal, aluminum crystal is a FCC type crystal, CCP crystal, cubic closed packing crystal. So that the volume of the crystal will be A cube. Volume will be volume of aluminum crystal unit cell. Aluminum unit cell will be A cube. A cube means this one. A value 354 into 10 to the power minus 10 centimeter whole cube. It will be, answer will be how much? 4.42 into 10 to the power minus 23 centimeter cube. If you solve it, the result will be 4.42 into 10 to the power 23 centimeter cube. This is the volume. This is the volume of unit cell. First we calculated the length of side, then you calculate volume of unit cell. But how much crystal is given? How much volume of crystal is given? 1 centimeter cube crystal is given. So in 1 centimeter cube aluminum contain how many unit cell? Question is number of unit cell. So volume is equal to 1 centimeter cube. So number of unit cell is equal to given volume upon volume of what? Unit cell. If you put this, given volume is 1 centimeter cube as per the question, Then volume of unit cell already calculated, 4.42 into 10 to power minus 23 centimeter cube. This is the volume of unit cell. This is the total volume given. So how many unit cell available? If you solve it, answer will be 2.26. It will be 2.26 into 10 to the power 22 unit cells. This number of unit cell present in 1 centimeter cube of aluminum. It is clear? Okay. Then third question also very important, that is related to defects. What is that? Nickel oxide has formula. What is the formula for nickel oxide? Generally, nickel oxide formula, normal nickel oxide is Ni. Nickel generally shows +2 state and oxygen is oxide, that is -2 state. So it is a normal formula. But it shows which formula? Defects. Due to defects, the formula changes to, as per the question, 0.98. It is clear? Normally it is Ni, but due to defect, which defect already you know, that is non-stoichiometric defect. This non-stoichiometric defect, the formula of nickel oxide becomes Ni 0.98. It is given as per the question. What fraction of nickel exists as nickel 2 plus and nickel 3 plus will calculate. That means nickel 2 plus already in the normal state, but when it shows defect, it is converted to some nickel 2 plus will be converted to nickel 3 plus. Question is, how much percentage of nickel 3 plus and nickel 2 plus are available in the crystal? If the formula of crystal is Ni 0.98. So we will calculate how. Now we will solve it. Let number of Ni3 plus is X. Number of Ni3 plus ion is X. Now number of Ni2 plus will be how much? The total is, for taking defect we are discussing. So 0.98 is total. So Ni2 plus will be 0.98 minus X. It is clear? The total is 0.98. 0.98 contain +2 ion and +3 ion. If nickel 3 plus is X, then what is the value of +2? Total is 0.98. So 0.98 minus X. Then we know for a compound total charge is 0. Total charge of the compound is 0. If you apply for this oxide, so this oxide contain this much of +3 ion and this much of +2 ion. So if you apply this, nickel +3 contain X number. So total charge will be X into 3. Why? Because X is for +3 ion and 1 +3 ion contain 1 nickel 3 plus ion contain +3 charge. So X number of +3 ion will be X into 3 plus how much? +2 ion this much. So 2 into 0.98 minus X. This is for nickel 2 plus ion total charge. This is the charge of nickel +3 ion. And it also contains oxygen. Look at here. Oxygen is -2. Oxygen is 1 oxygen, that is -2 equal to 0. Because total charge of the compound is 0. That's why this is for +3 ion. This is for nickel +3. This is for nickel +2. and this is for your oxide. So total charge will be 0. So if you solve it, your answer will be 3x plus 1.96 minus 2x. Just check 3x plus 1.96 minus 2x is equal to how much? 3x 2x. Yeah. 3x plus 2 into 0.998 minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. So 3x plus 1.96 minus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. Now 3x minus 2 is how much? X. So x 1.96 minus 2 is how much? Minus 0.04. Just to check it. 3x, that is x, minus 2, that is x. 1.96 minus that is 0.04 is equal to 0. Implies value of x is 0.04. Man, this is the fraction of nickel plus 3 ion present in the where? Fraction of nickel plus 3 ion present in the crystal. Then how much fraction of plus 2 ion? Plus 2 ion will be 0.98 minus 0.04. How much? 4. Then 94. 0.94. It is okay? So 0.9. This is for this much of fraction occupied by nickel 2 plus ion, and this much of fraction occupied by nickel 3 plus ion, and total is your 0.98. Total is 0.98. Plus 3 is 0.04. Plus 2 will be minus, it will be deducted from total value, so 0.98. But I can calculate percentage. Percentage calculated by taking from this, that how much percentage of nickel plus 3 will be, fraction is 0.04 and total fraction is 0. How much? 98 into 100. Because the nickel, for nickel plus 3, the fraction is 0.04 and total fraction is 0.98. If you divide it and you multiply 100, the percentage of nickel 3 plus will be how much? It will be approximately how much? 4%. It will be 4%. It will be approximately, it will be 4%. Around it will be 0. That is 4%. So similarly, if nickel plus 3 is 4%, approximately 4%, then nickel 2 plus will be 100 minus 4%, that is 96% approximately. So this is the percentage of nickel 2 plus ion, percentage of plus 3 ion, and the fraction of plus 3 ion and fraction of plus 2 ion. So this is the one example of non-stoichiometric defect. Then question number 4. Question number 4 is like this. Find out the total number of voids in 0.5 mole of compound forming hexagonal closed packing. So it is already what type of hexagonal closed packing? SCP closed packing. SCP closed packing generally produced by 6 people. So number of atoms generally taken as a number of atoms. Number of atoms will be 6. In SCP, the number of atoms will be hexagonal closed packing. If you see, the number of atoms will be produced. The hexagonal closed packing, it will form. Generally, the minimum number will be 6. So number of atoms will be 6. Hexagonal will be hexagon. Generally, 6 atoms will be required. So how many voids will be formed? We will calculate. We know that you have to see the voids is asked. Look at here. As voids asked, voids are two types: tetrahedral voids and octahedral voids. If tetrahedral voids, octahedral voids is asked, so as number of atom is 6, already you know number of tetrahedral voids will be 2n. Already know the formula. Number of tetrahedral voids will be 2n. So 2 into 6, that is 12. Then number of octahedral voids will be n, that is 6. So total voids is equal to 12 plus 6, that is 18. Total voids will be 18. If the crystal is made of 6 number of atoms, so total number of voids will be 18, 12 for tetrahedral voids and 6 for octahedral. Total is 18. So per atom how much? Per atom voids will be how much? For 6 atom voids is 18. Clear? So per atom void will be how much? So 18 by 6, that is 3 voids. This total voids per atom is 3 voids. But as per the question, how many mole given? 0.5 mole atom given. If 0.5 mole given, so total voids will be how much? Total voids will be voids in 0.5 mole will be how much? 0.5 mole into 1 mole contain how many atoms? 6.022 10 to the power 23 atoms. And 1 atom contains how many voids? 3 voids into 3. So if you calculate, this is the actually in this form you can calculate 0.53 is 1.5 into n0, that is equal to this much 1.5 n0 voids. N0 means alpha. Is it clear? This is about the question number 4. Number of voids in. Number of voids means you have to calculate tetrahedral voids and octahedral voids. It is clear? Then question number 5, that is if NaCl is doped with 10 to the power minus 3 mole percentage of SrCl2, what is the concentration of cation vacancy? That means in what type of defect? This is your impurity defect, already discussed in types of defect. It is example of impurity defect. In impurity defect, here is sodium chloride and sodium chloride. Sodium chloride when mixed with SrCl2, this generally produce Schottky defect. This produce Schottky defect. It is example of impurity defect. Here question is, what is the concentration of cation vacancy? Concentration of cation vacancy means per mole you calculate. So if sodium chloride is doped with 10 to the power minus 3 mole percent of SrCl2, that means 100 Here one thing, already you know, just let me show you the actual defects. Here the defect is like this. Here, when SrCl2 will be added to the NaCl, one position of Na plus will be occupied by strontium ion, and other side one Na plus will be vacant. Remaining will be Na plus, your Cl minus, Na plus, Cl minus. But here one position, one place of Na plus will be occupied. You observe clearly. We already discussed in defect. One Na plus ion will be replaced by one strontium ion, and neighboring Na plus ion will be removed. Automatically, two Na plus will be removed. Then one Na plus will be occupied by one Sr2 plus. If you see how many cation vacancy possible. When one NaCl will be added to one SrCl2, one Sr2 plus is added, and Na plus to the Na plus. So how many Na plus will remain vacant? One. So one Na plus remains vacant. For one Sr2 plus, one Na plus remains vacant. So here, as per the question, NaCl is dropped with 10 to the minus 3 mole percent of SrCl2. That means mole percent means 100 mole, 10 mole percent of SrCl2. Now 100 mole of SrCl2 produce how many vacancy? 10 to the power minus 3 mole vacancy of Na plus. Mole of Na plus. That means, as per the question, 100 mole of SrCl2 produce 10 to the minus 3 mole of Na plus. Okay. So 1 mole of SrCl2 will be how much? 10 to the power minus 3 by 100. That is 10 to the power minus 5 mole. 10 to the power minus 5 mole. What happens? 10 to the power minus 5 mole vacancy will be formed. 10 to the power minus 5 mole means in terms of atom will be how much? Total cation vacancy will be almost 10 to the power minus 5 into 6.02 10 to the power 23 vacancy. This much of cation vacancy will be available in the crystal if NaCl is dropped with 10 to the power minus 3 mole percent SrCl2. That means 100 mole of, just to change it better, 100 mole of NaCl, change it, 100 mole of NaCl added with 10 to the power minus 3 mole of Sr2 plus. 100 mole of NaCl is added with 10 to the power minus 3 mole of SrCl. That means how many NaCl is available? How many Na plus is available? 100 mole. For 100 mole, 10 to the power minus 3 mole Sr2 plus available. So, for 1 mole of Na plus, for 1 mole, if you take 1 mole Na plus, how many Sr2 plus needed? 10 to the minus 3 by 100. That is 10 to the minus 5. So, this much of mole of Sr2 plus added. It is here. 10 to the power minus 5 mole of Sr2 plus added. As for our discussion, 1 Sr2 plus produce how many cation vacancy? 1 cation vacancy. So 10 to the power minus 5 mole produce 10 to the power minus 5 mole of cation vacancy. Number of Sr2 plus added will be same as number of cation vacancy. So 10 to the power minus 5 mole will be equal to 10 to the power minus 5 mole of patent vacancy. Number of vacancy will be 10 to the power minus 5. In number it will be 10 to the power minus 5 into Avogadro's number. So just formula you change it. 100 mole of NaCl added with 10 to the power minus 3 mole of SRCl. So 1 mole will be 10 to the minus 5 mole. So as per the defect, 1 SR2 plus gives 1 cation vacancy. So 10 to the power minus 5 mole to 10 to the minus 5 cation vacancy. Is it clear? So this is about the different types of problem regarding defect, regarding density calculation, regarding radius or edge length, how to calculate. Okay, thank you.